Cassie, and just breathing some fresh air. It is an extra nice, pretty calm, beautiful day here in Southern California. And I thought I might as well talk a little bit about something I've been thinking about. Well, several things as usual. Just in case I don't live later, because it just feels like a very relaxing, beautiful Sunday. A day to relax anyway and think about the blessings the Lord has given us. And I've been thinking about some of that this year for myself, going through the cancer and chemo stuff. Even though I'm still recovering. But hey, Robert, Tom, good to see you guys. So should I quit the Pastor Bob topics? That's actually one thing I've been thinking about lately. And I don't know, most likely I probably won't, because we're all so interested in the story. But at the same time, I'm always thinking about the bigger picture and the 30,000 foot view, as it were. 40,000, 50,000. And yeah, I mean, probably part of the reason that I won't quit the topic is because of all of you awesome supporters. And you guys inspire me to just, I don't know, kind of stay on the, what feels like a merry-go-round sometimes. And, you know, probably in some ways I just need a break or a detour. Now that I've recovered enough to kind of be back to normal work, I really want to finish what will be my first official piano instrumental album in 432 hertz, and my third modern Christian album. And since it's basically September 1st, I need to get on it real quick if I want to finish that before the end of the year. But it's not just that, you know, with the topics of the shape of the earth and if you know stuff, like Robert just mentioned. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? And so that's why we need to rest sometimes and throttle back. And I guess really just be thankful for what we have already, instead of constantly wishing for what's to come next. And obviously that's not just the Pastor Bob story and the Gene Ho tidbits, George Magazine tidbits, and what's to come, but it's really everything. It's the whole package that we're waiting for, including the most important weight of them all, I suppose, and that's Jesus' return. And the new earth. Thanks, David. I definitely won't quit. I'm not going to quit the channel. But Yeah, it's just for you guys that know that have followed things that I've covered over the years, things I've talked about, pretty wide variety. To me, it's always about the bigger picture, and I might tunnel vision on a topic for a while, like, yeah, really, I did with Pastor Bob. But to just how shall I put it? I know better than to just focus on that only. And because it's ultimately not that important for each of you and for myself. So, yes, we want to know. Yes, we're really confident in all of that. But, I think a good way to look at it is, okay, let's just imagine for a second that today there's a big announcement by number 47. And Elvis is confirmed as far as, yes, we were right. And now all of a sudden, Pastor Bob is very popular. And who knows how that's going to go down, right? I'm almost a little concerned if that happens. But I just don't think it's going to go that way. But, okay, let's say for a second that it did. Okay, how is that going to change your life or my life? It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting, but yeah, all of you that are here, like me, we really just want Pastor Bob to keep on going, right? Keep doing his thing, sharing the gospel uniquely as he does, and inspiring us, changing lives as he has been. So when I realized that, those are dots to put together as well, right? To be able to not just kind of foresee the future, foresee what's coming, but go that last extra step and think, okay, if that actually happens, what does it change for me? What would God do with that for me? And if the answer is not that much, in the big picture, then that kind of tells you what you should do now. So, deep topics. David's thinking about the shape of the earth. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, David. Hi, Angelo. I'm sorry. Angela. Looked at that a little bit too fast. Hi, Tom. Irma. Barbara. Robert. Blessings to you too, Angela. The trail got hot. N-A-N-A. Well, let's just say the trail has been interesting, and it hasn't been a letdown. We'll just put it that way. Thanks, Barbara, for the support, no matter what. Yep, Bob is an amazing preacher. I agree. NA, I don't think it makes him a liar, based on what we know about. Again, if that's how things go, then we believe he has been in witness protection. I mean, how many years have passed now? 77, 87, 97, 07, 17. Man, has it been that long? Yeah, like 48 years ago since Elvis' official death. I mean, that's a long time. So, I mean, yeah, if he was legally in hiding for a long time and then around 2010 or something, I don't know, something changed and it was like, okay, you can now be a public pastor, but don't come out there and say, don't spill the beans. I don't know, but that's the theory and that's the belief. So would that make him a liar to me? No, it wouldn't. It would mean this is how you are dealing with the modern world and being maybe the most well-known human being currently on Earth. I mean, you can't just treat him like a normal person in that case, as far as the privacy issue, right? So it's just, yeah. I think the book theory is probably the most likely scenario. If it happens kind of the way we think it's going to happen. Thanks, NA. Yeah, Angela, we should be ambassadors for Christ. And it's not about being right all the time, or for me, it's not about always having the best news, the first news, the best videos, whatever. And that's like what I said, that's where the 30,000 foot view comes into play, because if I can't keep that perspective, then nothing else to me really matters. Yeah, I hear you, David. If he came out and he became known, huge, famous again, but now as a pastor, yeah, that's another very possible theory that I've always been open to, because I do feel like revival, well, it's already been happening in some ways, but like true, huge revival in our country, I think he could be at the forefront of that. So that is a scenario that I've envisioned as well this whole time. But also, one of the things I've talked about occasionally is just how this generation, if you want to call them millennials or whatever, there's different names floating around, I think, for the most recent generations, they are so ready for revival. And many of them are already there, of course. Every generation has young followers of Jesus, but if you know what I'm saying, like they've come into this world, this crazy, crazy world that we live in, with all the information at their fingertips. And many of them see the good and evil for what it is. And they just want nothing to do with the craziness. And they're kind of more sensitive than past generations. And I mean that in a good way. Of course, there's some issues there with a lot of them, but every issue or every generation has their problems. But if you know what I'm saying, like we are primed and ready for revival in so many ways. And all the generations are in different ways. With the awakening, the awakening doesn't care how old you are or how young. It's affecting all of us in different ways. So, yeah, the best is yet to come, Irma. It's already happening, but it has to happen slowly and on God's timing. And that's why I know that the best thing any of us can do is keep looking at the big picture, keep focusing on truth and discernment and what's really important, and learn how to have patience. It's not easy, but we're learning the hard way. Yeah, 48 years ago, NA. That's a long time. So, yeah, he's always been Bob Joyce. Oh, Angela, I actually have not seen Pastor Bob's new look today. I'm going to have to check that out. A bit of razzle dazzle, you say? Pastor Bob loves that song, Give Me Jesus. And we do too. It's a really good one. Yeah, Elvis Presley made a huge impact in several ways, both through gospel music and just being a great artist. There's some other artists too. You know, I was a Michael Jackson fan growing up. He was the first record I ever bought. I think was the Thriller, album. But it wasn't until much later that I realized how he's impacted me in different ways through this awakening, just intuitively discerning like what kind of person he was. And I don't think any of the bad allegations against him were true. Not at all. And in fact, the opposite. I see somebody maybe like Elvis in many ways we don't even realize, who was against the system that was set up to tear him down, basically, and just use and abuse them and many other artists we've heard about. And so it's not just about Elvis either, or Pastor Bob. Like I've said before, I've kind of focused this channel on these certain topics because I found them to be really good centerpieces. Pastor Bob, Gene Ho, George Magazine, those three people / entities tie together perfectly. And of course, with George Magazine, we can expand to a lot of topics. But I could just as easily spend weeks focusing on Michael Jackson or some other artists, not just because what they stood for or represented, but because they're popular too, right? And so they become sort of centerpieces for conversation. And yeah, some people are going to come to the conversation just because they're a crazy fan. And okay, that's fine. But for me, it's strategic because we can have these conversations and people will be interested in the topic. And then we can start to talk about things like faith and other things. So Yeah, is there some clickbait involved? Absolutely. But, a lot of people do it just to bait you in and get your attention, and it's kind of baseless, or not baseless, but purposeless. I don't know. But yeah, I've chosen to use certain centerpieces to jumpstart conversations, but it's all so much deeper than that to me. It's just, we gotta bring people together somehow. So, but yeah, there's another example. You listen to some of Michael Jackson's lyrics to his songs, some of the things that he did, and the entities that he went up against there towards the end. Was it really the end? And you'll see that him, and there's a good handful of other celebrities that may have faked their deaths because there was really no other option. So am I going to blame them and start calling them liars because they're going into hiding? No, you can't understand what that life is like. I can imagine it, what that might be like, and the hard choices that you might have to make. So, yeah, like I said, I've never really been the kind of person that interested in celebrities and all that glamour stuff, but centerpieces to talk about. They were thrown into the fire of the modern world. And so we kind of start with them, and then we branch out to all the other topics. So that has been my strategy, my friends. So yeah, I'll wrap it up there. I am just getting some relaxing in, as you can see, grounding my body, and so is Cassie. And yeah, there you go, Sarah. From dark to light. That's what we're doing. Hi, Sue. Hi, Elaine. And Sue Warren. Hello. Another good friend. Many of you are becoming good friends. So sorry if I don't always catch all of your names and respond messages, but yeah, Irma, like I've said many times too, I do believe we are in the end times in some shape or form, but how do we know we don't still have decades left? He will come like a thief in the night, but we just don't know the day, hour, year, decade. So always sort of walk and chew gum is my philosophy. Be ready for it today, but plan on the marathon. Plan on it being 2077 or something like that at the same time. Because we don't know the mind of God. We can appreciate him and everything that comes with him, but we just don't know. So, okay, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. I appreciate you all. I'm glad I did this live. I almost didn't, but now I will just sit here a little bit more, enjoy the peaceful morning, get very late breakfast. And side topic, I'm getting back to the 16-hour fast, or just a little bit more fasting in the mornings. I've heard so much about it. It's supposed to be really good for your body, give your body a chance to recover without food all the time. I do think the breakfast, lunch, dinner, modern world thing is another one of those lies that have been used to sell more food And I think it started with breakfast cereals, if you want to look into that one. But crazy stuff. The Bible talks about fasting and it being a good thing. So, hey, you connect the dots on that one. But that's where I'm at with it. So anyway, another side topic, but yeah, I do feel good doing it. And unless I get up really hungry or something, it's really not that big of a deal to just eat late. It feels good. I still eat plenty of food, right? We're still going to eat plenty of food. But yeah, just give your body a break from all the food all the time. Thanks, NA. I appreciate you too. Yep, drink more water. Okay, I'll see you all again soon. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye, Cassie.